Guenther Family History, ChickenSlaughtering by Donald Guenther. My mom had a pet chicken, and she used to dress it up like a doll. The bird ate pancakes at the breakfast table and lived behind the front door in the house. One day, as Mom strolled down the road with her brother Dick, the bird jumped into the air, saying, "Eek!" and dropped dead. Strange story, and strange as it may seem that my first memory is being the family's chicken coop. We used to gather eggs. I heard how Big Brother Ron once raised a great big turkey, only to find out that it dressed out very small, and how tough a dead bird can be. Now they call those kinds of birds range animals, but in our time they were less than desirable. We raised chickens for the meat and eggs. The chicken slaughtering took place at the end of the turnaround, with no little kids present, and behind Ron's old Henry J that he purchased for nothing, and that didn't run anymore. Dad used wood from the woodpile as the chopping block. Today, they cover the chicken's head and speak kind words to the animal before doing them in. Back then, it didn't happen quite that way. Grab the bird, manhandling it to get the head on the block, and whack. After Dad cut the head off the chicken, we scalded the bird with hot water to make the feathers easier to come off. The smell at that point could make anyone vomit. I did the plucking. I held the back legs and worked away at the bird. I knew enough not to breathe in the smell. Plucking a chicken takes 20 minutes, so the breathing has to be done through the mouth. I remember while plucking, my sister Fitty could make the chickens cluck after being beheaded. Once my dad only partially severed a diseased chick's head and tossed the bird in the dump, only to have the chicken run in front of the kitchen window. My mom froze at the sight. Mike, the famous headless chicken, had visited our little town, so we little guys doubted the validity of that story, but Mom won't deny it. When it came to family history stories, Mom and Ron's versions didn't always line up. You can imagine a youngster like Ron telling everything interesting to the younger set, while Mom tended to keep things more distinguished. Ron also had a tendency to embellish a bit. The best way to get at the truth had Ron telling you the story in great detail and then running the story past Mom. At that point you had the story pretty closely figured. The story of the headless chicken running around is true, but Ron adds a name to the chicken and Dad chasing the bird around. Mom says that part didn't happen, but Dad did chase a cow around that had its head stuck in the ladder. Mom had to help him by calming the cow with a bag of oats before removing the ladder. Dad's pride was thoroughly toasted. My big brother Ron helped my mom dress the chickens after Dad had slaughtered them, and after we had plucked their feathers. My mom could speed through the process, but Ron more or less dissected each bird. He would explain all the parts to his siblings while he worked on the chickens. He could even force air up through the body cavity to make the dead bird chuckle. He probably learned that at college, when he lived on the turkey farm. At the farm, he lived on peanut butter sandwiches, according to Mom. I never thought that was particularly bad. When Mom cut up a chicken, I remember everyone had to stand back. With 14 children, she learned how to perform everything most efficiently. Her knife strokes, breaking apart joints, and dismembering feet were done so quickly no one dared stand too close. Ron wouldn't make it as a butcher or anything other than a scientist. That had been evident from very early on. Mom had to be careful not to damage him by suggesting his feats at home weren't appreciated on a high-production assembly line. She did enjoy having him around because she loved discussing all the latest news she'd read about in the newspaper, The World. They shared a capacity for remembering every little detail on just about anything. Sound like a blood and guts scene out of a horror movie, but we thought nothing of it. We were country children, used to having to kill and eat farm animals. My mom and brother knew one year that Mom had the family milk cow butchered and put it into our freezer for meat. My brother ate our pet while my mom couldn't eat her old friend. Ron most likely enjoyed the thought of not having to milk anymore, and that's why he ate the cow. When I learned how my big brother maturely handled the situation of eating the family's pet milk cow, I decided that my son would take after him. With my son, in his early teens, he raised pigs for the 4-H fat stock sales in the county fairs. The very first year he raised 2 pigs, one for sale and one for us to eat. He named the pigs after his school teachers. I worried that he had made friends with the pigs. When eating time came, he had no problem. He commented that the meat ranked at the very top. He had the mindset of my brother Ron. Ron had no problem eating our milk cow Gussie, and neither did Nick when it came to his pigs. The money from selling the pigs enabled Nick to purchase a motorcycle trail bike. Thinking of the dead pigs spoke to Nick's capitalistic mind of buying motorcycles and having fun.